What's up guys, Xperia here, and this is the Sony Xperia T2 Ultra. It's not the second generation of last year's Z Ultra, but this device just kinda sits below that because of the mid-range specifications. This phablet was sent to us for reference at Yatango Mobile. You can build your own plan with no lock-in contracts and earn rewards. You can also try their service for free for 30 days, so definitely check them out at yatangomobile.com.au. Straight away, we can tell that this is meant to compete against the Galaxy Mega, which is Samsung's mid-range phablet, and we actually reviewed that on the channel, but I'll leave the link in the description box below, so check that out if you haven't. And that one has a bigger display of 6.3 inches. Powering this device is a quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor, clocked at 1.4 GHz to handle your everyday tasks, Adreno 305 GPU for graphics, a 1 GB of RAM for multitasking, and a huge 3000 mAh battery, which we will talk about more a little later. This only has an 8 GB of internal storage, but you can actually add an additional 32 GB via micro SD card slot, and it also has a 13 megapixel camera on the back capable of recording video in 1080p, as well as 1 megapixel front-facing camera with 720p video recording at 30 frames per second. Now, if you look at the design of the T2 Ultra, it's very similar to the Z2 except with a different material, which isn't actually that bad because last year Xperia devices have been really bulky in terms of the way they were designed, so I'm glad that it's not the case this year. It has a plastic back cover, which isn't a big of a deal considering this is a mid-range device, but what's really annoying though is the glossy finish. I mean, look at these fingerprints. It's really noticeable, especially if you go outside, so be aware of that. And it also scratches really quick, which you won't be able to see on the camera, but yeah, just keep that in mind. I don't know if this is just this particular model, but probably if you get this in a different color, then that might not be the case. I also wanted to point out the rear camera, and the way they've placed it, it's almost at the edge, and I often touch it whenever I'm holding the device in landscape, so by the time I use the camera, the lens is already covered in smudges. Now, this device is not a single-handed device, I'm telling you that right now, but to me, I actually find it alright, especially when I'm browsing the web or, watching YouTube videos, because the fact that I'm actually able to see more on this display when browsing the web just made the task a lot easier and quicker. I mean, not just that, but when emailing as well. I mean, I reply to a lot of emails every day, and the fact that I had more space to type was a great experience. Of course, there's a downside as well of having a big device like this, and that is being not pocket friendly, and I always end up putting it in my bag because it always falls out of my pocket whenever I'm sitting down. So if you're skinny jeans, then don't even try putting it in your pocket. Now, one of my issues with previous Xperia devices is the washed out display, and that is not the case with this anymore. In fact, ever since the Z1 Compact came out, then that's when they finally got it right, so it took them that long, really. The T2 Ultra has a 1280 by 720 resolution, which is probably not the recommended resolution, but I'm actually surprised it was still able to produce some great images. But of course, it's not the same sharpness and clarity as opposed to a 1080p display. The battery on this thing is actually really good, and when I say good, I mean we're talking about a whole day of usage here. I was actually out a week ago for the whole day, and it was still able to last for the whole day, and I didn't have to charge it until the evening. Now, the fact that it actually has a lower display, resolution display and processor, that kind of helps it as well to have a better battery life. So overall, really impressive battery life on this. Now, in terms of performance, it's been really solid, but it just doesn't have the same responsiveness and smoothness from the Z1 Compact or the Z2, even though Sony's UI is very light. But what I did is just installed Nova Launcher, and it fixed those issues. So ever since then, I've enjoyed using the phone, and in fact, I've enjoyed it more than the Galaxy Mega. Now, I was able to play games as well at a decent frame rate, so I don't think you would be disappointed with this phone overall. It still has a similar skin as other Xperia devices these days, but of course, this is running Android 4.3 Jellybean, so you'll have to wait for Sony to push out the Android 4.4 KitKat update on this device. The 13 megapixel camera on the back isn't actually that bad, and I have to say that's actually a very capable camera for a mid-range device, and the photos didn't look as sharp and detailed as photos that are taken with high-end phones though, but we can't really compare it to those. You still have the option to use the manual mode, so that's very nice. That way you can get the correct white balance if you're not happy with the auto mode. Considering that you can actually get this for less than $400, it's a bargain smartphone if you're a big multimedia user. It has an awesome battery life and a giant display, which is a great combination if you're going to be playing games and watch YouTube videos. So there you have it, folks. That's the Sony Xperia T2 Ultra. Let me know what you think of this device. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm just Garcia from Tech for Geeks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.